I didn't have any friends and people wouldn't really approach me. I would just sit alone at a lunch table. The need of constantly wanting to fit in, but at the same time you just don't fit in. Because I felt like I don't belong, I feel like I shouldn't stand out. Even when you do belong into like a certain group, you feel like an imposter. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to be talking about feeling like an outcast. Specifically for those who just constantly feel like they don't belong. Almost like you're born an outcast. This is something that I want to talk about because I've dealt with it my whole life. Being born Asian American, as a kid being shy, introverted, growing up ugly. I didn't have any friends and people wouldn't really approach me. And I remember just there were a lot of times in middle school, I would just sit alone at a lunch table. I would bring a book and basically pretend that I'm reading to not feel like a loser. And I would have a few friends, but sometimes like if they're not there, I would just read. I didn't have like the popular girls' clothes. I remember Uggs were a huge thing. North Face jackets were a huge thing. I didn't have those. So there was appearance wise when I was younger, and then when I got older, it was the anxiety aspect of it. Like especially in social settings, I don't know how people just go very smoothly. There's people who have a lot of connections at these social events and they would just go up to people and just be, hey, what's up? And I remember there was this once back in like freshman year of college, basically this upperclassman, and I was walking back from class and she was like, oh, you should come to this party. And I was a freshman. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I went there. I literally stood there. Everyone was like taking shots and I was scared. I didn't want to take a shot. And I was there and I just felt so outcasted. Everyone was talking. I stood there. People looked at me and nobody wanted to approach me. It wasn't social. And also at that period of time, I didn't really dress up and I didn't seem inviting, I guess. I was really stiff there. I have been in friend groups, but the thing was that they do get toxic towards the end, I would say. I remember like when I was in friend groups, I felt really trapped. Like I feel like I can't go meet other people. I don't have a current friend group right now. Yeah, it feels lonely and it just feels like you don't belong. You don't belong anywhere. Like, you know, people that can just like text their friends and be, hey, can we like just hang out? I don't have that friend group anymore. I'm like friends with individual people because for me, I feel that causes less drama. When there's arguments within friend groups, it can end up really badly. And that's happened to me before and I don't want that to happen again. And I guess like this is why people are in relationships, because it makes them feel like they belong. They belong to another person. Okay, maybe that's a bad way to, but you guys know what I mean. They have this connection with this other person. They're always going to be there for them, right? For me, it's just I don't have that. This has always been my entire life. I'm always on my own little island. Everyone is, you know, in groups. And I'm just in my own little island right here. And it gets lonely because I feel like as a human, everyone craves connection. So then usually when you don't belong, you would try to fit in. And whether that's like changing your appearance or, you know, changing your personality or, you know, whatever it is. I've done that. I've changed my appearance, but also I will say that I changed my appearance due to myself, like self-care. But a part of it was also I want to fit in. I want people to like me. I want to make friends. And then I also changed my personality, which I would link the video right here where I talked about growing up ugly. I was very introverted and I'm also extroverted in some aspects, but I, you know, amplified it. I tried to become more extroverted than I am. And it was hard to keep up. The need of constantly wanting to fit in, but at the same time, you just don't fit in was exhausting. Or maybe it could also just be I haven't found the right people, which goes to my next point, which is the fact that I just had to stop trying to fit in. I really stopped trying to fit in. And one of the prime examples of me not trying to fit in is posting on social media. Back then when I was just so scared to post on social media because I thought of what would people think of me. What really got me through it was the fact that I didn't fit in the first place. So who cares if I post on social media? I'm not gonna like lose a bunch of friends because I didn't have a lot of friends to begin with. The true friends will stay by me. And so at the end, just be unapologetically yourself. That's what I learned, because fitting in is so exhausting. Like even now, I feel like I avoid social functions because I'm scared that the part of me of wanting to fit in, of wanting to belong in like a group, to talk to people and not just stand alone by myself, freaks me out. But these days I realize that I would only go to certain social functions if I'm comfortable enough. If I'm comfortable with the other person, then I would go. And even now, like even though I don't belong in any certain groups, even like I am Asian American, I often just feel like I'm not Asian enough because I don't speak Mandarin as well, because I can speak Mandarin fluently but I can't text it. And also when I'm with my Asian American peers, I just tend to feel I also don't fit in. Because like a lot of them have grown up watching certain TV shows, and for me, I didn't grow up watching those certain TV shows, and so even as a kid that just never worked out for me. I remember as a kid, people would talk about certain shows like iCarly or those Disney shows. I didn't have access to those as a kid. Like I watched a lot of like these Taiwanese historical dramas. A lot of my Asian American friends, they would pack certain lunches, like Spam sandwich or like peanut butter sandwich. My mom packed these pork and leek dumplings. I remember I would get made fun of in middle school because I would open it and it would have a certain scent. I remember there was this one girl, she was one of the popular girls. I remember she was sitting at the end of the table and she was like, "Did she bring those dumplings again?" I remember I felt so insecure. I literally went back to my mom. I was like, "Mom, don't pack me those dumplings." And I feel so bad. She must have been so confused. But me as a middle school kid, I just wanted to fit in, and having like those kids say that, it just made me feel really awful because I felt like I don't belong. I feel like I shouldn't stand out because I already don't belong, and so if I even stand out, it just emphasizes the fact that I don't belong. So I would lower myself, fit into that image that was already presented for me. I was really focused on my academics. I wouldn't wear makeup, I wouldn't wear certain clothes because I didn't have a good support group. I didn't have like a supportive friend group or a certain community that would be like, "Yeah, go do that, we'll got your back." But when I got to college, I changed my personality. I made a friend group. I was more like embracing myself because I wanted to fit into a group so bad. Those friends that I had were not that compatible to begin with. We didn't share a lot of the same values. Towards like, you know, like sophomore, junior year, I realized that maybe I just don't need to fit in. I really wish that I could sit here and be like, it's okay to not belong anywhere. Even now, I'm still trying to deal with it because it gets lonely. And this year, I really tried to meet more people. I'm also more introverted in a sense, so it's also kind of hard for me. I'm trying. And I feel like it also goes to the fact that I'm a pretty awkward person too. I do fine in certain social settings, but sometimes it's just, I also get pretty anxious for social settings. Even when you do belong into like a certain group, you feel like an imposter. You feel like a fraud. It's almost like you feel like you need to create the sense of person in order to fit in with other people. When you grow up as a kid not fitting in with your peers, it gets harder when you become an adult, and then you try to fit in, and then you find that to be exhausting, and then you came to the conclusion that maybe you just don't need to fit in. But then when you don't need to fit in, it makes you feel very alone. Before, I was always like, I don't need to fit in. Who needs to fit in? It's completely fine. I don't need to fit in. I want to do my own thing, but at the same time, I really want to be open to other people, or even like a place, I don't know, where exactly I belong to. The lesson here that I've learned is the fact that if I did belong, I don't think I would have done social media. Basically, back then I used to spam on my private Snapchat story, and then I felt like annoying, even though I didn't force anyone to click on it. People just click on it, but I felt bad. So I just started spamming on my TikTok. So here I am making YouTube now, and I post on Instagram too. So the lesson is that generally, if I fit in, I don't think I would have posted on social media. I wasn't in a friend group. Like, nobody was gonna make fun of me. I was like, there's nothing to lose. I'll just post whatever. I think that was kind of like a bit of the start where I kind of just realized the fact that I don't need to belong. I'm just gonna do whatever. I'm not losing anything anyway. Like, who cares? I do want to meet people that I share a genuine connection with. I want to keep building my own little community of people. This is something I struggled with my entire life. I feel like I've never belonged anywhere, and it's scary, but the thing that I can tell you is that stop trying. Stop trying to belong, because it gets exhausting. When you don't belong, you can't get yourself to belong somewhere. So when you stop trying to belong, you'll eventually find a place of where you belong. Just be yourself. Be yourself, do your thing, because it's so easy to just fake away into being with people that you don't actually want to be with. When you're just yourself, you're gonna attract people who you feel like, oh my god, like, I actually genuinely like hang out with this person. It makes me feel really great about myself. That's my note to you guys. So yeah, I hope this video spoke to some of you guys and also helped some of you guys. This is my journal entry number 4 to anyone who feel like they don't belong. I will see you guys all next week. Yeah.